And I'll go as far as saying that you can be sloppy on your opening position, be an excellent closer. I don't mean salesman closer. I mean closing your position, and that's where you make the money. And how many times have you seen your own trades? If I only held on to this, I would have doubled my money. Let's say you made $150 on a trade, and then you closed it on a long position, and then you saw the thing just kept moving up, and you said to yourself after the end of that trade, geez, I could have tripled my money if I just waited 20 more minutes. That happens over and over and over. So that's why I developed this system, and that's why I think it's going to be really very good for you if you are willing to do a little studying, and which I always recommend in trading anyhow. Okay, is the more you study, the more you really take this business seriously, the more money you make. That's just the way it is. And isn't that true with everything in life, whether it's trading or some sport that you like to do, or golf or tennis or anything? So let's go to a couple other stocks I identified today. This is Lululemon. You can see the stock symbol in the upper left. And here is a great example of what I call a drop and pop. Now, that's a term that I made up, I don't know, it's quite a long time ago, years and years ago. And maybe other people call it that too, but I call something when the market's opening, it's dropped from this 73.70 area, and it dropped down $2, about $2.50, and the numbers on that, it's going to be over 3% potential profit. Will you make all that? No. No one is trying to represent, and you shouldn't be thinking in the way of trying to make all that potential. Your job is to take as much of that drop on a short as you can, and as much as that long on the rebound, or what we call buying the pop. I'm probably the only guy who says that, so I shouldn't say we call it that. I just use that term. Okay, you got that. See that bright green stripe? That's the latest signal that I've developed with this program, and we're on our 5th or 6th program in 2 years. The first guy didn't know enough. The next 2 guys were lazy. 4th guy was better, and this guy is really, really good. So one of my goals on this lime green one was to try to get it as close to the bottom as possible. Okay? Repeat, as possible. And it's not going to happen cleanly. Okay, so you've got a signal somewhere in here, 72, 72.10. Let's say the first one was 72.15. If you take a guy like Ed, who's I've worked with for and known for at least 2 to 3 years, and you can do this, he's really good at getting way down on the bottom. Okay, if you ever have a chance to listen or work with him teaching trading, he's very talented, just very, very talented. He came, I met him at one of our seminars probably 3 years ago, at least 2.5, 3 years ago. So really talented. You'll see his little marks as far as entries. I mean, they get way down here, and you're not trying to get necessarily one trade at the bottom. It might be 2 or possibly 3, and it's always a good idea to scale in and scale out, both with stocks and really especially with futures. Just my opinion. Every one of you are going to develop your own style, but we all need these principles, the best practices. You still need good habits with Lightning. As much as this system is giving excellent signals, you still need to learn about what you should be doing as far as trading principles. So that those concepts are still going to help you whether you use a system like this or not. And you really need that. So let's take this pricing over here. Let's say if this signals area looks like it's around 72.10 to 72.20, and it looks like this top area is around the 73.40 area. Okay, $1.40 on the rebound, and maybe you made $1 on the way down. So $1.40 on a $73 stock is going to be about 2%. And I've always said between 1 and 3% on a trade is excellent. Okay, so you got a trade on the short, and even if you get halfway down, you start moving, because usually when you see a stock drop, and it usually probably has some news, but I don't have time to look up all the news before I decide to make a trade on it, that it takes a while for these to bottom. And it's funny how stocks and futures move further than you think. That's the beauty of this lightning system. So let's move. Let me drag this over. There's 2 excellent trades right there. Yes, you could be on a short on the third, but usually you don't get a third trade on that. Now, after you get that volatility, what you should be doing is keeping this chart open. Okay, you should be keeping it open for other signals, and let's take a look. Here's a buy signal here. Now, if you let me draw one more time and use this chart as a white screen to draw. If you let's say you have a basketball here, and you drop it, and let's say this is the ground, this gray line over here. You drop that ball, it goes like this, right? The first bounce is the biggest, and then, as the mathematicians would say, they might say the cosine wave gets smaller and smaller, right? The oscillations get smaller and smaller, and your discipline should be saying, don't keep going in there over and over and over. It's going to be smaller and smaller trades, and I'm giving you a 5-star tip here for, well, especially the guys who are fairly new in trading. Don't keep trying to get this smaller and smaller profit potential. Just remember my basketball analogy. What you should be realizing, I'm going to get one good trade out of it, maybe 2, probably not 3, and I'm going to be looking at more ideas are being posted, which I talked to you about here. We have a bunch of custom scanners. Let me get rid of the drawing because I can't drag it down. So your job is to know that, look for 1 to 2 trades in a volatile stock, and continue to monitor other trade ideas. So there's quite a few, right? There's 4 or 5 guys contributing to this. That's what you should be doing. That's your daily routine. Look for the most volatile stocks, make a trade on it, monitor it while it's open position, look for others, and that's how you're going to get to that 4th thing that I said is one of the 4 things that I said earlier, that you're trying to get a way or a system or tools to handle more trade ideas and easier workflow. So you move on to the next idea. You move on. You don't necessarily wait. See, what Lightning is allowing us to do is you can handle 3, 4 positions at a time without the emotions going in your head, not knowing what to do and how to interpret all the lines. And in fact, I have these 3 moving averages on here. I don't even look at them. It's a habit, and some of you guys love this. So I'll show you how to turn it on and off. You can just turn those off and not even show. But I'm so used to them, I don't even take them off. So let's move on to another one here.